Hi y'all, this is So Blessed. Welcome to the Blessed Place. How y'all doing? It's lunchtime and I'm headed to Olive Garden to get some food for me and my peoples. But in the meantime, I thought while I'm in this work mode of getting food for my people, I thought I would share with you guys a few tips on how to find favor with your boss and get ahead. Now, I know that we are in the culture of being your own boss, being a boss. Okay, I was going to say being a boss bee, but that ain't holy. But I know we're in this culture of, being your own boss. But the reality of it is most of us, a great majority of us, are not our own bosses. We have bosses. And probably gonna have bosses for years to come, even if you are grinding on the side. So for those of us with bosses, or those of us who will eventually have bosses, if you're young and you haven't really had bosses other than your boss and mama, this video is for you. Or perhaps you've been on your job for years and you are just not advancing like you want to, or like you think that you should. And maybe you're questioning as to why or why not and what's going on. So a few tips. Let's just get right to this before I get to Olive Garden. The first tip is to know what your boss expects and do it. Learn what your boss expects from you and do it. Now that might sound so elementary, but I'm just going to give you an example. My boss, who he was new to me as a boss. I knew him, but he was new to me as a boss, and I think he's been my boss, I don't know now, a few months, maybe 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months. And when he first became my boss, I didn't know what his expectations were. And one example is, I was supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, and I would just wander in, 8:01, 8:05, 8:07. Really probably no more than, say, 7 minutes late. But I had never been held accountable for showing up to work, per se, on time. Because I never really had a specific, I had a time to be at work. But I just always been able to do my own thing over the last probably 20 years of being a supervisor. And so there was nobody really ever to hold me accountable to say, Deidre, you're 2 minutes late, you're 5 minutes late. Well, after, two, three of these times of me coming in, 8:01, 8:02, 8:05, my boss said, D, you got to be on time for work, because I expect you to hold your people accountable for being on time for work. And you got to set the example. Okay, so I learned what his expectation of me was, and you best believe I have been not only on time, but before time for work ever since that day. And a couple of times he's come by my office to talk to me, see if I'm on time for work. Captain, if you see this, I just playing. But he's come to talk to me, and he's like, wow, you're here, is my clock wrong? You're here early, or you're here a few minutes early. So, Captain, I'm learning. I'm a quick study. You don't have to knock me over the head. So that's just an example of knowing what your boss expects and doing it. Another tip for finding favor and advancement and promotion on your job is to anticipate your boss's needs and expectation. So after you get to know your boss, you start to know what they expect, and then start to not only do it, but to segue to the next level is to anticipate it. Anticipate what your boss expects and what your boss may want, and perform it. Perfect example today. I was reading an email, and I was in the middle of responding back. As a matter of fact, I had completed the whole email in responding back, not to my boss, but to someone else. And I was anticipating the needs of that person and anticipating what my boss may say about the situation. And he called me while I was in the middle of that email, and I said, Captain, I am just completing an email about this very topic. And I said, I'll go ahead and include you in the email. So I included him in it and sent it to him while we were on the phone. And he got it and he said, excellent, job. So that, to me, learning him and learning to anticipate. And that's just one example. There's been a few things that he's brought to my attention, and I'm like, Captain, I took care of that yesterday, or I took care of that last week, or I'm on it, I'm taking care of it now. Or I will be taking care of that next week. But anticipating that I know my captain is the type of person who wants it like yesterday. And that's another tip, is getting to know your boss's personality. Are they the type of person who want it like yesterday? So you have to know to go ahead and do whatever that task is, do it like yesterday. Are they the type of person who's a little bit more relaxed and you have a little less time constraints, and you know that you can do that? If your boss is the type of person who likes your input and likes for you to give them, to provide ideas, or thinking outside of the box, whatever it is your boss, their personality type is, you want to be able to learn their personality type, anticipate that, and then to balance the way you work with their personality. Another tip is to compliment your boss. I really do believe that, and with me having been a boss somewhat, but I would say supervisor, but having been in a supervisory position for 20 something years, those few times or rare times when my people have complimented me, it meant so much to me, because as supervisors, managers, bosses, etc., you don't get a whole lot of compliments. Your boss may tell you good job, excellent, but I mean from your subordinates, you don't get a whole lot of good job, as a supervisor. You're doing a great job as a supervisor. Now, if you're not doing a great job, hey, you're just not doing a great job. But I'm sure that there are people out there doing a great job, and their subordinates don't tell them that. And again, another example, the other day, my boss told me, helped me out with something and walked me through how to do something, and it worked. I double checked, and it worked what he told me to do. And I called him and I said, Captain, thank you so much for helping me, and you are so smart. They think I'm crazy because I'm just personable like that. But compliment your boss. If you think they're doing a great job, or they did a great job on a project, or they did a great job on an accomplishment, or they received an award or something like that, send them an email of congratulations or email of thanks, or tell them verbally that they're doing a great job running the department, or having completed something, etc. Compliment your boss. That goes, believe me, that will go a long way. Another way to get advancement is to produce excellent work. Don't half step on your work. Double check when you're doing anything having to do with paperwork. Double check your accuracy, be detail oriented, your grammar and your spelling. I mean, there are too many tools out there for us to be misspelling words. There is Grammarly, there is autocorrect, there are all kinds of apps and all kinds of resources out there that we should not be misspelling words, or misusing words, or mispronouncing words, or okay, y'all get it, right? Because I am amazed sometimes at the work that people produce, and then doing your resume and a job application, that's a whole nother video that we will get to. But I'm amazed at the lack of professionalism in the work that we do or the paperwork that we do sometimes. So that's another thing, be excellent at the work that you do, or at least strive for excellence. Hey, I've been on a learning curve with this new position, and those who are watching this who don't know, I've been 30 years in dispatch, supervising in dispatch, and now I'm supervising in a whole nother area of law enforcement that I knew nothing about, which was records, property and evidence, and I'm still learning. So believe me, I have made my mistakes, and I'm sure more mistakes to come, yet I still strive for excellence. No matter how many mistakes I have made, no matter how many mistakes I probably will continue to make, but one thing for sure, I won't continue to make the same mistakes over and over. So those are my tips. I'm here in the parking lot. It's time to go get my food because I'm sure my people hungry and I'm hungry. But those are my tips to help you find favor and get promotion. Find favor with your boss and get promotion. I have a whole nother video that I could tell you about promotion. How I thought about this, and I'm going to leave you with this, that I have gotten jobs and promotions and positions and have never asked for any of it. I've always been asked to apply for these positions because of God's favor on my life, but also because I adhere to those things that I have shared with you. I have been blessed with favor on my job and favor with my bosses. And I want to pass on that same thing to you. Okay, I hope this helps somebody. Please share with me in the comments. If you have any tips, please share with me in the comments if you use these tips and you find that they are a blessing to you. Or if you just want to say hi. I love hearing from y'all. Okay, you guys. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed.